The confused mind does not buy. Lorrie Thomas Ross. You have the power to be the boss of your own life. I'm your host, Monica Allen. I'm a wife, mom, entrepreneur, best-selling author, lifelong learner, and your biz bestie. I have a love and passion for all things small business. Growing my own company from $700 to over 7 figures annually, my goal is to bring you inspiration, business-focused topics and tips, encouragement, and a community that helps you launch, grow, and scale your business, whether you are a dreamer, a side hustler, or a seasoned entrepreneur. You are listening to the Become Your Own Boss podcast. I love how today's guest describes herself in her Instagram bio. Sassy, short-haired CEO of Web Marketing Therapy. Marketing optimizer, speaker, mom, and wife who lives for the little things in life. Lorrie Thomas Ross has created a firm that is an enterprising entrepreneur's secret support weapon to brand, build, and boost business. She has actually trademarked healthy marketing equals wealthy organizations. I'm so excited to share my conversation with Lorrie, founder and CEO of Web Marketing Therapy, with you today. Let's jump right in. Lorrie, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so happy to have you here.
It's great to be here.
Lorrie, tell me, I was recently talking to somebody and they said, entrepreneurship is a calling. And I said, it really is. Tell me about that calling for you and what led you onto your entrepreneurial journey.
My calling to getting on the path to entrepreneurialism began by teaching. I was teaching for UC Santa Barbara and eventually taught classes through Berkeley Extension as well. And my students were mostly small business owners and entrepreneurs. And I just thought they were heroes. They were so creative. They were architecting their lives to align with work that was meaningful for them. And I couldn't wait to get into class week after week and learn what they were doing, but also give them all the marketing wisdom that I was able to teach, and just watching the transformation every single week. My path to being an entrepreneur was so I could help more entrepreneurs. I was in corporate and things moved slowly and there wasn't a lot of creativity. And I was watching my small business and entrepreneurial clients moving mountains very quickly and being able to pivot and adapt. And that's where my heart was.
I love that. Web Marketing Therapy. Love the name. Why therapy? Why put therapy in there?
I never, ever would have thought that my company would be called Web Marketing Therapy. My clients, so when I started my business as Lorrie Thomas Web Marketing, because a client said something like, who do I cut the check out to? And I wanted to sound cool, like I had it together, and I didn't. And I said, Lorrie Thomas Web Marketing. My clients did not know each other and all kept calling me their marketing therapist. Everything from, oh, I need my therapist, to girl, I got to get on your couch. Whoa, you just did this huge therapeutic session with us and our web person. And the patterns, right? And one of the best things we can do as leaders is listen. And it was this repetitive feedback from people who had no connection to each other. And I bought the domain Web Marketing Therapy. I sat on it for 2 years. I had friends tell me, don't do it. It's a weird name. And it just felt right in a sea of so many marketing consultants. We're not selling services. We're selling solutions, and we're helping our clients implement these solutions with a no codependency approach. And all of these therapyisms kept coming up. And also, when I started my business, I was in my late 20s. I needed a brand that would allow me to say, look, to my alpha male clients, you're being a danger to yourself and others. And if you continue to make these decisions, you're not going to sustain. And they're like, oh, well, she's our marketing therapist. And that's what we brought her in for. It was a huge differentiator. It also was really powerful for my personal brand.
I love it. I love the word therapy in it. Tell me this, what makes you, like you said, you bring solutions. Tell me more about that. When it comes to you looking at your clients, what are you doing for them?
Listening, understanding, bringing an expert lens to diagnose, prescribe, and guide healthy, sustainable marketing solutions. A lot of the times, our clients have great web people. They have amazing social media teams or employees that are just really great at what they do, and they need a little bit of training. Or maybe a vendor got a little too comfortable doing things a certain way, and we might come at it and say, you know what, why don't we try this? And suddenly we're eye to eye with people. We all speak marketing geek language. We want to come in and help. We want to make things better. And to that no dependency approach, we often come in and we audit, we do our thing, and we're gone. I mean, I have clients that will call us up every 5 years and say, okay, here's where we're at, or we've added a new product line, or we've shifted, or we've brought on new partners to the company. We're able to look at it and just figure out, okay, what's working, what's not. Let's change things up. Hey, have you looked at this? And often getting systems in place. You know what, where I say diagnose, prescribe, and guide, sometimes that language feels a little squishy to a leader. And I'm like, look, projects, processes, systems. They're like, oh, yes. Yes, I understand that. That's what we do. Yeah. We identify the need to haves first, and then the nice to haves, and prioritize so that we're baking this in order with a really, really healthy foundation. That's so essential, is that there's so many new cool things when it comes to web and digital marketing. And it's really essential sometimes to go back and make sure that the language is clear, that the branding is rock solid, that everything is primed and ready so you can build.
Got it. Interestingly enough, I recently did an episode in my Kickstart Your Business series around branding and the importance of it all being cohesive. But sometimes that can be difficult when you have one person doing the email marketing, one person doing the social media, one person who's in charge of the website, or maybe a team in each one of those regards. And I'm hearing what you're saying is you bring all that together so it all communicates well, it's all in line, it all makes sense. Am I reading you right?
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you're teaching the cohesiveness of branding. It's so essential, and it's simple, but it's often overlooked. Our logo icon is a phrenology head. It's the psychological myth that areas of the brain would house personality. While that's not true, there is a personality to our business, and our icon has these puzzle pieces coming together. We believe wholeheartedly that you have to have all those puzzle pieces in place to make marketing click. And to that point, with branding consistency, language consistency, I can't tell you how many times I look at somebody's website and then I look at their social media profile descriptions, and they say different things. The confused mind does not buy. We have
right.
and there's a confidence and consistency in the look, in the feel. If I'm speaking with you one way like this, and then I'm like, oh my God, totally, you're going to be like, wait, what? Who am I working with? Their consistency creates confidence, and there's a stability to that. And it's so essential for brand survival.
I love that. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Let's go back and talk a little bit about the beginning phases of your business. You've decided you're going to take the leap. You're going to go in there in 2005. You did it. How did you fund your business?
No money, honey. I had at the time, my now husband, my husband at the time was kind of in shock of like, you're really going to do this. There was no, hey babe, I've got you, I'll cover rent or whatever. I had $2,500 in the bank, and that was it. There was no safety net. There was no, and it was such a blessing. And my first husband and I work together now. That was never the plan. He's one of my best friends, and I would be not even close to where I'm at without him as a human in my life. And having that, like, okay, you're going to do this, but do it. All I wanted to do was just help clients. I had, thankfully, that corporate job that was like the let go of the ledge job, that it was so bad. I just had to resign. I came home. I cried. I brought home my red stapler from Office Space, the movie, and I just sat at my dining room table and had like the shaking, oh my gosh, what have I done? And I wrote an email to all of my contacts using my Hotmail account. And I said, I've left the confines of corporate hell. I've started consulting. At the time, had 2 clients that I was working with, mostly weekends, like nights and weekends. And I explained what I did. And before I knew it, I had great referrals, and not necessarily huge quantity, but great quality. And in Santa Barbara, where I started my career, I had built up a really solid network that gave me what I needed to start building my business. But yeah, there was there was no really plan. It was really the like, I can't bleeping take it anymore. This is such a dysfunctional company. And I have to leave because I love teaching and I'm watching my students take my material and I see vast improvement. And the two side clients that were tiny were also seeing great results. And I was just like, I gotta align with where my magic is.
Yeah. You went on your mission. Very good. Very good. Okay. If I don't ask you this question, the audience is going to wonder. You now work with your first husband, which means you have a second husband.
Second and final husband. Yes.
Okay. So just tell us a little bit about how that worked out, just because, I mean, that's kind of an odd story.
It is, but you know what? When you love someone, the saying, when you love someone, set them free is so true. And I would do it all over again exactly the same way. And we just got to a point in our lives with my first marriage where we were both growing, but kind of in like different directions. And we were holding hands at the no lawyer save money place. They were like, "Are you sure you two want to get divorced?" I mean, we know each other extremely well. When I started dating again, it was actually really important for me that who I was dating, that my first husband kind of gave me the thumbs up. And actually my husband and my husband, they're friends. They have a friendship outside of me. And it's really special. And I feel like when adults can be adults in relationships, then you can still preserve and not let go of what brought you together in the first place. So yeah, I mean, I love love. I love love. I've officiated a handful of weddings now, which was totally an accident as well. And I find partnership just enriches your life and you can grow together, you can support each other. And yeah, and I mean, speaking of, just partnership and being intentional, it was so important for me not to lose what I had built in my first relationship and just the friendship and you don't have to throw it away.
I love that. That's so mature. I mean, you just don't hear about that often. So I had to circle back to that because that is amazing. Thank you for sharing more about that.
Thanks for asking.
I know that's not around business per se, but I absolutely love that. Looking back on your early days, what were the first steps you took to bring your business idea to life? And what were some unexpected hurdles you encountered?
I had the ugliest website. I actually found it because I used it in a talk. I spoke at my daughter's 12, her career day at her junior high. And I pulled up my first website to show them how you can build a business and bootstrap it. I built my own website. The copy was good. The design was not. I'm not a designer. I'm a great creative director. I just didn't have the money to do what my vision wanted to do. For me, it was communicating. Marketing's about being in the right rooms with the right people. I had a good list of contacts who knew, liked, and trusted me and could vouch for my work. For me, it was language, it was copy, it was the communication, the education of let me educate you about what I'm doing now. I was doing this, all of that has led to this, and I can help make, at the time, my tagline was making small businesses big with the web. That was my tagline. And that's what it said right on the homepage. And it was clear language. And, also it was 2005. I think our design standards weren't what they are today. But as soon as I made enough money, I was able to invest back and build and invest in a brilliant graphic artist to do my first logo. And then eventually we rebranded to Web Marketing Therapy and invested in that brand. It was a start small and snowball path, but it was definitely having the foundation, the copy, the value messaging, the website. Facebook was just starting to kind of do its thing. So really it was having that website and the business card. And what do you say? Sometimes the fake it till you make it. I was like, oh yeah, here's what I'm doing. And, when the recession hit, I'd get a lot of like, oh, how's it going? And even when times were tough, I'd always say, I am so thankful to be doing work that I love. And even if I wasn't making the big bucks, I had this positive professional approach. Nobody wants to play on a losing team or support a ship that's sinking. I had good business and I just did a great job. And also I will say too, for building the business, it was copy, it was the website, it was also customer service, the most overlooked piece of the marketing puzzle. When you take great care of your clients, they come back, they say nice things about you. And so it was like kind of like good old fashioned, old school marketing.
Love it. Tell me about a time though, when you wanted to give up Because I know persistence is huge, resilience, all of that when it comes to entrepreneurship. What was the time that you wanted to give up, and what kept you going?
Mm.
Probably more than one, but
Yeah. And I'm trying to think, there's moments where I've always loved the work that I do in my business, but I've had moments where I've just felt burnt out. And that's where I kind of want to give up. It has nothing to do with the work itself. I was just having too much. And when I hit those points, I can feel it now. I'm way more dialed into my energy and where I'm at mentally, spiritually, all of those things. Now that's the wake up call of, I'm not mad at my business. I'm not mad at anyone. I need more help and I need to ask for help. And I will say that's the biggest piece of any time I have felt like I can't do it anymore. It's my own dang fault for not asking for help. And women are notorious for trying to do everything and be super people. And there's times where I just have to say, look, even to my employees just because I'm responding to you very quickly, there's 8 of you and there's 1 of me and there's clients that you've never heard of from 2007 that are reaching out. And it's the saying respect is reciprocal is something I always have to remember, because you can respect others, but if you don't respect yourself, you're not going to get that respect back. It's just going back to staying grounded. And when I use a pie chart when I talk about marketing, because it's marketing, operations, and admin. Poor admin, it's so unsexy, but we need it. Our contracts, our bill collection, the operations is doing what we promised to do. And marketing often gets treated with this on and off switch. And you have all of those pie pieces that have to be working together for a business to thrive. But I now have a middle one that says self-work. That's the nucleus. For entrepreneurs, if we're not doing the self-work, that's where we get burnt out. That's where we say, I'm throwing in the towel. I'm giving up. I can't do it anymore. And my lens as a marketing agency owner, I can also work with a business leader. And there's moments where I can tune in and go, this isn't about the marketing. It's not about the staff. Sometimes the owner needs to unplug and recharge. And sometimes the owner may not have the support that they need. But I'm pretty certain that any time I've ever had that, like, I'm done, always goes back to me just frying myself out.
yeah, thus the name therapy. I love it. You do it even when you don't intend to, right? The self-work. I love that so much. What would you say you mentioned asking for help. What are some other elements would you say is part of that self-work piece?
I think it's Tony Gaskin's quote of, you're the CEO of your life, promote, demote. Sometimes it's cutting things. It's human nature. If we're doing something like, well, that's the way we've always done it. Well, we've always had this person run this report. One of my early clients was a big client in the bodybuilding industry of all industries. And I came in as a marketing optimizer, and I noticed that the email newsletter, they kept saying, this takes us weeks and weeks and weeks. And I'm looking at the data. The newsletter was like this long. No one was going past couple paragraphs. And I felt like it was the emperor with no clothes, where I was the one that was like, no one's reading this. And you're all spending so much time on it. And they weren't like, they were just like, but we work on this. We work really hard. And their egos were super attached to it. And that's where, when it is marketing therapy, I can't save everyone, but I always have to go on record speaking my truth. There are those patterns of, well, we've always done it like this. People might feel some attachment or like, well, that's my job. But you always have to be willing to let go of things that don't serve you. I always say break up and see other people, right? It's like, just, if you don't know how something's performing, hit the pause button. I've had clients who are like, we don't know if Google Ads is working or not. We're like, okay, well, we'll look at the data, we'll set up tracking, but also maybe we scale back for a while. And they're like, oh. I'm like, go on a vacation instead. Take the $10,000 and go do something epic, right? It really is deep rooted in fear, and we have to be willing to let go, ask for help. If there's little things that we can do what you do best, have others do the rest, but also be willing to say, this is my favorite phrase in the whole world, that does not work for me. And if you have vendors where your shoulders go up to your earlobes when the email comes in from them, or they make more work for you versus actually taking work off your plate, we as leaders have to say, that does not work for me, or it does not work for me when we start meetings like this, or it doesn't work for me when I say, I've got to do this and be on a call in 10 minutes and you keep talking. And, call it being, bitchy or whatever, we have to lead ourselves.
Yeah. Wow. You just hit on so many things. And I'm like, oh, I need to cut that and I need to do this. And it's funny, Ethan and I've actually been talking about Google and Meta lately because we're just not sure that it's really doing what they claim. Even when we look at the reports, it's like, I don't know. This doesn't seem to add up. We've actually taken that approach of scaling back and honestly just trying to think more creatively around marketing because it's not just the same old, same old. There's other challenges that you can move forward with. And or it may seem challenging initially just because you haven't done it before, but it could be fun to try something different.
And that's such a great point about Meta and Google is, it's like David versus Goliath, right? Like they're these big players. And of course, we want to be visible and we want to be where our audience is. But if we're just not feeling like it's working, and that's where I have a very different approach to marketing than maybe a vendor who's very focused on selling advertising. I don't have that attachment. And so it's like, yeah, what's the harm in hitting the pause button? If you don't know if a vendor is getting paid to manage your advertising, they're going to be more motivated to say to you, no, 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 you got to be there. If you're not there, your competitors are going to be there. And then that's all the fear. And we can't run businesses with fear as our compass.
Oh, that was good. That was really good. Thank you, Lorrie. Oh, that was so good. If you could sit down with your younger self and tell your younger self anything before they jump into this journey, what would it be?
It would be to relax and have fun. It's the F word, right? Like sometimes I'll give a talk. I'm like, I know I'm not supposed to say the F word. And the coordinator in the back's like, why did we invite her? And I'm like, fun. And you see people sometimes squirm. It's like, can we have fun? Are we allowed? Like, yes, we can have fun. The people I work with, I really enjoy. My clients, I enjoy. My coworkers, I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoy them. We have fun. It's not always a perfect, happy, joking day, but I will say my younger self was so serious. I was so, so serious. And being at the age I'm at now and looking back, I would have had a lighter approach. One of my sweet coworkers and one of my best friends, her name is Anne. She helped me build the business. She's been on board since the very beginning. She agreed to help me temporarily all these years ago. And when we worked in corporate together, when I turned 25, she got me a happy 40th birthday cake. And that was a statement like, true friends stab you in the front, Oscar Wilde quote. She, with love, was always like, relax. Like, and yeah, I was so hardworking. I didn't enjoy even the early successes as much. It was like, okay, great, next. And now being a parent and just being at this mental stage in my life, I just feel so much more relaxed. And I feel like there's an organicness to life. And part of being in control is often having calm, right? Like there's a lot of power in that.
I was going to ask you if you thought your daughter lend to that change in you. You mentioned being a mom, and I was going to ask you that question
I
because
have been
kids,
told I'm nicer now that I'm a mom by my coworkers. I've always had strong maternal instinct. I've always been hyper responsible, and becoming a mom, this incredibly nurturing, just beautiful part of me, just I feel like it's like a flower just like blossomed. And I'm still tough. I'm still demanding and commanding and all these things that make me who I am. But I'm also, I feel like I'm a better leader because I'm a parent. And I'm trying to think of the best way to describe the shift in being a mom. When I had my daughter, I took 2 weeks off of work, and but I also worked from home. I worked from home back in the day when nobody worked from home, and that was weird. And clients didn't want to hire us because we didn't have offices. And even though I wasn't taking the months and months that some new moms take, I also didn't miss a thing. And it made me very, very good at saying no to things. Or if I would say yes to something, it was yes, and my daughter's coming. Or, I mean, my daughter took so many trips with me before she was in school. And being a mom has made me, when you grow, physically you grow when you're pregnant, the creativity has just blossomed too. I don't feel like I'm I have to confine myself to certain things as a parent.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, kids bring out a lot of different parts of us. I feel like I really enjoy, there are definitely days where I'm a little like, but it's also a lot of fun too, because they're very imaginative. And I think that helps me in creativity as well. Like, you don't have to think inside this box, because they don't think inside boxes at all. They're all over the place.
It's
So
amazing.
it is amazing. One of the things that I like to leave people with on this podcast is to level up and leave a legacy. I'm curious to know, what legacy would you like to leave through your entrepreneurial journey?
For me, leaving a legacy of helping people understand a happier, healthier, wealthier approach to marketing. It makes my heart hurt when people have fear and anxiety and stress about marketing. It makes me sad when great companies aren't doing marketing, when, thanks to the digital world, the elitism of marketing is gone. There's no more days of the Mad Men where only the Hyatts and the big brands of the world got, a chance at getting in front of customers. We have the ability to start businesses on our phones and do things that are so creative and in niche, right? Like there's sell to the masses, live with the classes, there's riches in the niches, and there's something for everybody out there. And for me, from a legacy perspective, I want great leaders and great organizations to know that marketing is not icky. It's not yucky, that marketing is about relationships and ideal relationships and doing business in a way that's ethical, that's positive, and that also leaves an impact. Yeah, that has been a big mission for me. It's just helping people understand. I talk a lot about this concept called marketing, markeding, and the ED is for education. And I was like, just mash those words up. Stop thinking about the advertising. Do I need 5 videos? Should I be posting on LinkedIn 5 days a week or 2? When it's like, we don't date that way. We're not like, hello, I'm at a bar and I must talk to 27 people because statistically the odds of me getting a date are only within 3. We don't think about it that way. It's like there's a natural connection, and the relationships in our lives that are so rich are because they feel natural and because they are enjoyable. And if we can have that same approach with marketing, I've done my job as a professional.
Thank you for sharing that. That's so good. Who is your ideal client, Lorrie?
Great question. Our ideal client is an intentional leader or organization. And what that means, it's an organization or leader who loves what they do. I mean, I'm trying to think of the various mix of clients I've worked with today: travel designers, top trial lawyers, criminal defense, trying to think what else I've seen come across my inbox today. Every single company we support or nonprofit, they're doing what they do because they love what they do, because they want to do a great thing for their audience. And the whole concept of having a niche is valuable. For us, our niche is a psychological niche. It's a mindset. It's a type of leader. The company who's like, we need to sell 50,000 things of this per day and do this and do this, and we don't care about our employees and like we can't, there's no alignment. Like they're speaking a language that my brain's just like, what? I was in Nashville a couple of days ago for this incredible amicable divorce network, and it's the only global organization of vetted divorce professionals who are all a collective of great people in all industries relating to divorce. I got to be part of that to support my client. And then I had a client at the Atlanta Travel Show, and they were the hit of the show. Because they're just so warm and genuine, and they're clients that we can truly get enthusiastic about. And it's a terrible analogy, but you'll always remember it. My clients are Batman. We're Robin. We're the trusty sidekick that doesn't get the glory. And that's how it should be. It's not about us. It's not about us using our clients' brand names to win awards. It's about us helping them do the best that they can do so that they can grow and thrive. Really great people are our ideal clients. And it's not necessarily a shape or size. Definitely we're more in the small to mid range client, but we've had huge companies come to us for things like audits of like, we're doing everything right. Now what? And we come in, our dream team comes in and, we're looking at everything and trying to find the blue oceans, which we do, and we give it back to the team and we're done. But clients that we're doing a lot of, recurring work for, are often in that mid-range.
Who are you typically meeting with at the companies? Are you meeting with like the marketing directors or CEOs of the firm? I know you said small to medium. Who are you typically talking to?
There's always initial meetings with the leader of the organization, often myself and the leader. So we're both looking at it from a business lens. And some of our clients have marketing departments and they have folks that we're working for or employees that we're leveling up or vendors, like we're putting all these puzzle pieces together so it clicks. So sometimes we're having meetings with vendors and reporting back to the client and becoming that almost like rent a CMO type of a role. But yeah, when it's always decision makers for sure.
Gotcha. Just a couple more questions. But when it comes to a challenge maybe that you have ran across, what wisdom have you gained from that challenge? I hate to call it a failure because to me, you learn, there's no such thing as failure. But what wisdom have you gained through maybe a challenge that you've experienced in business?
My biggest challenge early on was being almost too nice. And I'll say now, full transparency with clients, look, I get paid to be great, not nice. And then I go on and I say what I need to say. And 9 out of 10 times they're like, oh my gosh, we've talked to so many different companies and you're the only one who's laid it out like this. And we had no idea. Or, oh my gosh. I mean, there was someone I spoke with at the end of the year and I said, what you've built is incredible. And unless you bring on a virtual assistant, I'm not even going to touch your business because you're doing too much and it's not sustainable. And I don't want to see you crack. And this person was like, oh. And they got the virtual assistant, game changer. And then we put all these systems in place. Anything that was a challenge in my business, whether it was maybe something maybe not going the way I wanted, or maybe I didn't get the big bodacious results I wanted for a client, was often because they might have pushed their agenda or came on a little too strong. And I was like, well, maybe we can do it like this. And now I just say, absolutely not. That's not going to work for you. Or, yeah, my coworkers call me the no fun lady.
But you're all about fun.
No, but it's funny because they're like, you're going to have to get on this Zoom and you're going to have to be the no fun lady because we keep saying this and they're going to have to hear it from you too. I'm like, okay.
One of the things when I read through your form, because I love to get to know people better before I even chat with you, is you mentioned like following your gut. And I know that's one of the things, that's probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned in entrepreneurship. I would ignore it and always regret it. But can you speak to that a little bit as well?
Oh, yes. Theories. There's actually some experts who say we need to be looking at more decision making from our third eye versus our gut. I call it intuition, whatever it is. The times that I've felt something, but my brain goes, no, like, oh no, it's a big name client, or oh, the team's going to be so impressed when we do this. And my gut's like, the person we're talking with doesn't seem to be maybe their intentions don't like feel right or something. And yeah, it's always that. Yeah, well, I call it my spidey senses, my intuition, my gut. It's so important to listen to that. And that's, I have to practice what I preach. I have a client who comes to me and says, hey, look, we've got this big PR opportunity. What do you think? I'll look at it, but I'll also say sometimes like, look, there's no guarantee you're going to get results with this. But if you have a strong relationship with this company and it's important for you guys to do something together, you're going to really have to go with your gut on this. But don't do it thinking you're going to win the jackpot, but, just take a moment and just tune in and see how you feel. And, and sometimes it's like, oh, I really don't want to do it, or I really feel strongly about doing it. And my co-founder, because of certain reasons, then we'll have a whole separate conversation. I actually heard my husband say to my daughter last year, they were talking about something and he didn't know I was in the room. And my husband is very analytical. And he was like, your mom has really strong intuition. And that's something that I don't have as much as she does. And, there's times where you have to pay attention to that. And I was shocked because there's often times, I'll say thanks to my daughter, like, well, Mercury's in retrograde. And he's like, don't say that. And I'm like, well, it is, but there's always going to be a time where you have to do that. And as a leader, you're making decisions all the time, and you have to make decisions to grow, and they can be to scale back or move forward or do something or try something different. And yeah, sometimes I can say, I can't tell you why we need to do this, but we got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just feel it. You feel it. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, Lorrie, I really appreciate you telling your story about you jumping into entrepreneurship and web marketing therapy. Again, I love the therapy piece of it. It seems like a completely different take to the marketing world. I love that. I appreciate you. Just tell people really quickly how they can get in touch with you if they feel like they're an ideal client for you.
Webmarketingtherapy.com is the easiest place to find us. Lorrie Thomas Ross. And if you want to look at my hairstyles over the years, my long hair, my short hair, it's all on Google Images. But yeah, I'm very easy to find online.
Thank you. I love your short hair though. It's really, really nice.
Thank you. I've been traveling a lot lately, and it's the best. It's just like,
yeah, I like it. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lorrie, for being on the podcast. You are now officially a part of the Become Your Own Boss family. I will share Lorrie's contact information in the show notes, so just in case you're in need of marketing therapy, she'll be there for you. Now, one of the things I absolutely love about talking to entrepreneurs is, again, I always gain some insight, some takeaways, some nuggets of wisdom from each and every entrepreneur I talk to. And with Lorrie, one of the things that I thought was so profound and in alignment with the Kickstart Your Business series, part 3, episode 184, is around naming your business. Lorrie's business name was driven by her clients. It's often very helpful to listen to your clients, see what it is that they keep saying about you. Ask them questions around your name. And I talked about that in the Kickstart Your Business series, part 3, because they can actually be very helpful. And we've actually found our clients to be helpful in the products that we carry. For example, if we keep hearing the same request from multiple clients over and over again, the consideration is, okay, perhaps we should carry that. And truthfully, we opened our first retail store because clients kept saying it would be really great if there was a place that I could go to and see this product and touch it and try it on and all of that great stuff. So we ended up doing that, and it's been really, really helpful to our business. So listen to your clients and see what they're saying, hear what they're saying, and they can really guide you in helping you be successful in business. I'm just going to share a couple of more takeaways from Lorrie, but I would also love to hear from you. And I would like to know your takeaways from this episode. You can email me at monica@monicaallen.com, or you can pop over to Instagram at the Become Your Own Boss podcast and share it with me there also. One of the other things that I really think Lorrie alluded to for all of us entrepreneurs, especially for those of you getting started, is to start ugly. She talked about how her first website was absolutely ugly and hideous, but she started anyway. So remember, you don't have to have it all perfected from the beginning. You're going to learn a lot as you go. So the goal is just to get it out there, get started, and as you move forward, you will tweak, you will change, you will pivot, you will do all the things. Trust me when I tell you, you will pivot, because that is just what business is. Lorrie also reminded us that we can have fun. And I can really relate to Lorrie when she talked about how she was so intense, because probably the first 10 years of our business, if not longer, just looking back for myself, I was head down, work, go, go, go. But I do feel like, so maybe it was longer than 10 years, because I feel like COVID kind of woke me up to reality. And I've definitely begun to reprioritize my day, my week, my life. I want to have fun. I want to have fun with my family. I want business to be fun. which is why I've got to really remove a lot of the administrative tasks. You guys, I hate email. Now, if you're emailing me about the podcast, that's really amazing and cool, so please do that. But other email about orders and various things, my jacket color, I don't really want to handle that. I really want to outsource that. I want to delegate that because those are things that honestly I'm not best at, and they don't excite me. I love strategy. I love to think about, like, how do we grow this business? What's the best way to market this new product? Those are the things that are exciting and that are fun. So we have to find that in our businesses because honestly, that's what keeps us going and lends to us not getting burnt out. And then lastly, Lorrie talked about marketing, which with the ED, and she mentioned education. And I think if we can look at our marketing efforts as ways to educate our customers or clients, we are going to be great. We're going to do wonderful things because we can educate them on the greatness of our products or our services. And if you think about it, and I know I use Apple as an example a lot, but when Steve Jobs took out the full page ad telling about all the greatness of the Mac computer, I think this was back in the 80s. This was before I even knew about Mac. But it's really about educating people on how something can change or benefit their life from an emotional standpoint, getting at that core of the emotion of whatever it is you're selling. Educating them on that piece is what really makes the difference. And once Apple stopped talking about all of the descriptive elements of their computer and really leaned into how having this creative computer will make you feel, make you be cool, make you be on the cutting edge of technology and change and design, that is when the company did amazing. And same for their phones. They knew with their phones, they wanted to show you how great it is to have everything you need, a computer in your pocket, basically. How easy it makes your life. Also distracting, but educating your customer or client on how your product or service can change their lives, their business, that is how we win in marketing. Again, Lorrie, thank you so much for just all of your insights and all of these golden nuggets. And I want to thank you for listening today. I am grateful for you. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and share the podcast. You can see the link in the show notes again for Lorrie's contact info. And I strongly recommend you follow her on Instagram as well. Her Instagram handle, Web Marketing Therapy, very cool, amazing. I love their logo. And then you can also actually follow Lorrie as well, Lorrie Thomas Ross on Instagram. And she posts, you can kind of see a little bit of the behind the scenes of her life and how she enjoys the little things. Don't forget to check the show notes for the Become Your Own Boss Facebook community as well. You can join me there. And remember, now is the time. Now is the time to level up, leave a legacy, and become your own boss.